This is the version of how the world was created. You look at the North Island, it's the shape of a stingray. It's like the head of the stingray is facing down towards Wellington, and then the north part it goes up. That's the tail.
What's the main leadership principles in Maori? Someone who doesn't know anything about IT but want to start in IT, what should be their entry point?
It all comes down to knowing who you are and why you're here.
No one wants to settle down in smaller jobs,
How you perform as a leader is going to affect your whole team.
If I want to get into IT support role, what should I be doing?
But you can't do it because you're helping someone connect to the Wi-Fi. And I think if you can understand those two questions, that can change your life.
Kia ora everyone, welcome to another episode of nlsa podcast. Today we have a special guest with us. This conversation might get a little deep about Maori myths and legends, exploring Maori culture that shapes leadership styles, and invaluable advice to kickstart your career in IT. Buckle up, because we are in for an epic conversation. And let's welcome none other than Sonny Teio. Welcome, Sonny. I'm so glad that you are here at the moment, and thank you for your precious time.
Thanks, Anuvindh, for this opportunity.
It's been an honor hosting you here. Here today we'll be learning more about Maori culture, and people like us, we came to New Zealand to adopt New Zealand culture. We started considering and living this as our home. We want to know more about this because we never got a chance to learn about Maori culture.
First of all, kia ora koutou, everyone. Ko Raimairi taku mauna, ko Rutaki taku awa, ko Waitangi taku iwi, ko Tuana taku hapu, ko Kawara te marae, ko Teio taku ringa whānau, no manerewa aho, kei te tamaki makaurau, kaina i nai nei, ko Sonny tōrane toko a Teio, kei te whakahaere ICT, ki te koro matatini, ki Hoti Poti tamaki makaurau. And yeah, it's just, you're just introducing yourself. And when you share that, other people are listening to what you're saying. They're trying to identify the mountain, the river, or what tribe you come from. And then they're trying to make the connections between who they are and who you are. So that is kind of the purpose of why you share that. That's called a pepeha. Could be known as a mihi, but it's about knowing your identity as a person. Because I guess two main questions that I've learned is knowing who I am and then knowing why I'm here. And I think if you can understand those two questions, that can change your life.
People who are coming to New Zealand and what cultures and traditions they should be knowing about Maori language or the traditions or culture. What are the basic things they should be knowing or they should be learning?
The best way to learn the Maori values is and become immersed in it to have a better understanding is to learn the reo, the language, because it's through that learning the language that you'll understand how a Maori thinks, how they behave, the decisions they make, and understanding, because it's not just about the languages, it's about everything about Maori. It's in that language.
In older days, it was Maori language. I believe then there was an English influence. Then now it's coming back to the roots, right? So in older days, was there any system that you can, learn Maori culture, or there were any restrictions to learn Maori culture in older days, like really old times?
We weren't allowed to speak Maori
Oh, okay.
back then. It was, it was no.
There was no system like
Yeah.
to continue. Oh, okay.
Which is why there was, in the urban areas where I grew up, is why you hardly heard anyone speak the reo. It was only spoken in the house. And my parents were told by their employers that were non-Māori that if you want your children to succeed, they need to learn English. So my parents decided to not teach us the reo.
Can you give a mythical story for this? The mythical version of the origin of New Zealand, because I heard like really amazing story.
Maui was fishing, and he put his line down. There was a big battle of pulling out this fish, and eventually came out. It looks like a stingray. And if you look at the North Island, it's the shape of a stingray. When you actually look at it properly, it's like the head of the stingray is facing down towards Wellington, and then the north part that goes up.
Oh, true.
That's the tail.
True.
Yeah. And it's kind of the east coast, Gisborne, Tauranga, that place area. It's like that's one side of the stingray, and Taranaki is the other side, and then the head is Wellington. So this other story I know is about Ranginui and Papatuanuki. Ranginui is the sky father. Papatuanuki is the earth mother. This is the version of how the world was created, earth was created. They loved each other and they embraced each other so tight. And they were never wanted to be separated. They just wanted to be together, embrace each other as long and forever, because there was so much love in Aotearoa and that relationship. And eventually they gave birth to many children. But the children had nowhere to go. They were stuck in between this embrace of love. And it was about 70 children stuck in there. But in between there, if you can imagine two people hugging, there's a darkness. And so that all the children were stuck in there. They got to the point that, hey man, we're getting too crowded. We want some space. And so the children were trying to come up with a plan. We need to separate our parents so that we can experience more of life. And they all worked together to separate their parents. They said, we need to get dad away from mum, because we need our mum. And in Maori culture, the mother is she's the most important person. And so they pushed dad out, away from the embrace, to the point, he was just far away. They could never touch each other again. So he's the sky, he's up in the sky, and Papatuanuki is the earth. And they say that when it rains, that's Ranginui, that's his tears falling, because he misses his lover, you know.
Okay.
And then when there is mist among the forests, that's the grief or the anguish from the mum, that she's trying to send her love.
Send love to.
Yeah, to her
That's
husband.
very interesting. That's never
Yeah, it's
heard
pretty
that
amazing.
version.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to know is about Treaty of Waitangi.
Yeah, the Treaty of Waitangi is a really interesting event that happened in 1840 between two different parties. It was mediated by the church. The two different parties is the Crown, the British Crown, and the mana whenua, the people of the land. And there was an agreement that was written that had three different principles. There was partnership, participation, and protection. And because the Crown and there's Maori, and Maori didn't really understand much English at the time. The church, one of the ministers, he understood both Te Reo and both English, obviously. So he was the person in the middle, and he would have to translate what was written to the Maori. But there's always been two versions of it, two written versions, the English version and the Maori version. And what's upset a lot of people is the translation of the words that have been used in different versions. There's the word that's called kawana, and in the Bible it means to govern. And from what the English was saying, we want the authority over everything of New Zealand. Where the Maori in their version of the treaty, it was none. Is that they want to form a partnership as guardians. There's two different words. Governing is with the authority, and then guardian as a protector. And so their understanding of the treaty was they want to be known as the guardian of the land. But when the Crown wrote their version, they just want to own and take. And so there's a lot of issues where people from overseas have travelled to New Zealand because they were promised, if you come to New Zealand, you can get all this land for this amount of money. And they didn't. The people that came on their boats to New Zealand, they had no idea where the land came from. They just were promised it. And a lot of that land was just taken from the Maori. and that's where the issue is. But with Maori, we want to take care. We don't want to own it. We just want to make sure that if we look after our mother will always look after us.
It's more about values.
It's more about
it's
the
more
value
about
of
values. People who are coming to here, like New Zealand, to understand the values, how you treat the land, how you treat the air, how you treat the water.
it. Yeah,
It's
the
more
water,
important.
everything. Yeah, so true.
I think the newer generations are a bit more understanding about the nature. I recently had a visit to a school to educate them about how the work culture is. So from that experience, when I talked to students, the kids, I understood that they have bigger dreams. No one want to settle down in smaller jobs, and kids are having really big dreams, which is really good. And I believe social media have all a really important plays an important part on that, because that, I wouldn't say social media, internet itself plays an important part on that, because that gives them wide understanding and wide eye-opening views towards all other sectors, specifically IT. We can talk about, right?
Yeah.
In New Zealand, IT, I believe, is one of the highest paid skills that you can get into, and I believe you are in that sector from quite a long time. um, and you're enjoying it. I believe so. And you have any tips and tricks for our viewers that can someone want to be joining in New Zealand and want to be in IT sector? Any tips and tricks that you can give them?
I think a simple answer is is to know what your favorite ice cream flavor is.
Mm.
You
Wow.
walk into an ice cream shop, you see so many different flavors. Like now, when I grew up, there was like maybe 4 or 5 flavors. But now you can see 20, 30, 40 different flavors. And the reason I say like that is with IT, it's the same.
Yeah.
IT has so many different flavors or sect or areas like this. You can be help desk, you can be a technical engineer, you could be a web developer, cybersecurity. It could be, there's so many different flavors in IT, and I think it's important to know what's your favorite, because if you love being a developer, but you're stuck in help desk, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate being working in help desk because you don't like that flavor. You want to be working on code. You're developing. You want to do coding, but you can't do it because you're helping someone connect to the Wi-Fi.
Okay, let's
You know?
let's say it like this. Someone who doesn't know anything about IT but want to start in IT, what should be their entry point?
My experience and what I did was I chose, because at my age I started when I was in my 30. I started to go. I went straight to the bachelor, which was a bad idea, because like I said, I knew nothing about computers. Really, I should start with a certificate.
Certification, industry certificate. Yeah.
Just find a certificate in IT, and because normally they cover all the different flavors of IT, and it's through that process you'll find out, oh man, I'm a network engineer. I just love connecting these computers devices together in the network, and that could be, you find out what your strength is.
Yeah, yeah.
The amazing thing about today is that you can go online, you can find a lot of online courses that are free that will give you the basics, and through that learning you'll think, oh yeah, I don't really like networking. So then you just try a different one. Try a different course and just keep trying until you find the one that you like. Just start with the basics in one area. If it doesn't fit, or you don't like that strawberry flavor, then you just go to try chocolate.
All right.
You can find an IT company that, once you know what you enjoy doing, just knock on the door.
If I want to get into IT support role, what should I be doing?
The IT support can be something from as simple as reset the password to this application does not start. So you need to know what that application is and how does it function. And that requires a lot of knowledge.
It's more about problem solving skills.
Yeah, it's problem solving.
Problem solving.
So if that's something you love doing, is solving problems, then yeah.
IT support. And I believe that can be an entry level for someone who doesn't know anything about IT.
Yes, yeah. And then
Yeah,
through
that teaches everything, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And then from that could be a launch pad into
cloud engineer, can be into DevOps and different areas, cybersecurity. Yeah, cool. Let's talk a bit about leadership. What's the main leadership principles in Maori culture that we can adopt?
It all comes down to knowing who you are and why you're here. I can't reiterate that, because if you don't know who you are as a leader, then how you perform as a leader is going to affect your whole team. If you don't know why you're there as a leader, then the same thing. It will affect how the choices you make. And for Māori, for me, whanaungatanga was pretty huge, because that whānau is your family. The tanga is the activity or the action of building a culture of unity and trust and teamwork and working together as a family. And that changes the whole atmosphere or the environment of the workplace, because sometimes you can be in a place where everyone's competing to trying to get ahead. But when you start to promote, hey, this is a family environment. We work together. We work together for the success of the business, not the success of a person. So there's a whole kind of different mind shift of the choices we make every day. What you'll find in New Zealand, that when you find a job and you work and you see the values of some of these companies, it's very similar from where you come from. Like, they're very traditional values like honesty, excellence.
I was always curious to know. I know Maui as a perception for like Maori God, but I just want to know what are the like godlike beliefs, godlike concept in Maori culture.
Yeah, it's like the story with Papa Tuanuku and Oranginui, how they were separated and they had 70 children. The 70 children were they were all gods. But then there was some, and they're part of there's 7 key gods in Māori methodology, right? There's Ranginui up the sky. There's Papa Tuanuku, Tānei Mahuta. He's the god of the forest, the trees, the birds. There's Tāwhiri Mātia. He's the god of the weather. There's Haumea Tiki Tiki, the god of their uncultivated food. Then there's Rongo Mātene. He's the god of the cultivated foods. You trust that this god will look after your vegetables. And there's Tangaroa, god of the sea, the ocean, and he protects everything that's inside, the resources that are in there. And then there's Tūmatauina, he's the god of war and hunting. So those are the 7 core gods, but there's many others. But I like many other different cultures, there's different gods.
I feel like also one thing I am amazed about Maori culture is family. The relationship and the bonding values they have.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your time being here, and it was really nice to talk to you and get a little bit more understanding about the culture. We are just getting understand about it. Thanks for bringing us the stories. Appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. As we wrap up today's episode of nlsa Podcast, we hope you've been inspired by the fusion and tradition and innovation shared by our guest. From the depths of Maori mythology to heights of Waitangi leadership, there are much more to learn to explore. Remember to subscribe for more enriching conversation and insights. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep embracing the wisdom of diverse world. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring interviews and knowledge bombs. If you like this episode, leave us a comment and like and share it with your mates. This is nlsa Podcast signing off.